Today I'm going to make a video that I've wanted to make for a very long time. I am going to compare the Precision Matthews PM-25MV to the Grizzly G0704. These are both really popular, I guess we'd call them benchtop style milling machines. And I want to take a few minutes and go through a comparison of these two machines in case you are in the market for one or the other. Hopefully this video will help you decide which one you want to get. So let's get started. So first of all, let's talk price. The Grizzly G0704, the price of this machine, as stated on the Grizzly website, is $1,250. The shipping charge is $109. So your total out the door for the Grizzly is $1,359. The Precision Matthews, the cost of this machine is $1,599 according to their website. Now they say the shipping is free on this machine, but if you want the liftgate service, that's an additional $49. So I'm going to just assume that most people that buy this machine want the liftgate service. I got it, and the driver literally delivered the pallet right in my garage, dropped it right where I wanted it to be, and then he drove away. So it's well worth it. So the PM-25MV, so the price plus the $49 shipping or liftgate service, that puts you at $1,648. So the Precision Matthews at $1,648 versus the Grizzly at $1,359, the Precision Matthews is $289 more than the Grizzly. So, point Grizzly. So we'll just say that. The G0704, your price plus shipping is more competitive than the Precision Matthews. Warranty. Let's talk warranty. The Grizzly, according to their manual, comes with a 1-year warranty. The Precision Matthews, according to their website, comes with a 3-year warranty. So I gotta say, point goes to the Precision Matthews with the 3-year warranty versus the Grizzly's 1-year warranty. Let's talk about some mechanical or some physical characteristics of the machine. The Grizzly, according to their specifications page, the machine plus the stand, it weighs 372 pounds. The Precision Matthews, the machine plus the stand, according to their information, that weight is 350 pounds. So, as far as I can tell, the Grizzly weighs more than the Precision Matthews. So I'm going to score that as a pro, so I'm going to say that point goes to the Grizzly. You're a little bulkier and a little heavier than the Precision Matthews, so good for you. Now, let's talk about slideways. The Grizzly, let's go over here and look at the Grizzly. And I'm going to look for my flashlight, see if I can shine some light on some things here. The Grizzly, I don't know how well you can see this. Well, I can shine the light on this. The Grizzly has machined slideways for the X and for the Y. I know my camera skills are not the best here. My apologies, but so you have machined slideways for the X and the Y on the Grizzly. They're not precision ground. They're machined. The Precision Matthews has ground slideways for the X and the Y. And, you know, hey, I think that's better. So I'm going to say point for the Precision Matthews on the ground slideways for the X and the Y. Now for the Z, interesting. So let's go back to the Grizzly. The Grizzly has machined slideways for the Z. as does the Precision Matthews. As far as I can see, that looks machined. Very very similar to the Grizzly in that respect. But I will say this. I think the quality of the machining on the Z-axis slideway on the Precision Matthews is a little better. But so as far as the X and Y, I'm going to say the point goes to the Precision Matthews because they're ground. The Z-axis slideways, the Precision Matthews and the Grizzly, they both have machined Z-axis slideways. But I'm going to say that the machining looks a little bit nicer on the Precision Matthews, so I'm going to give the point to Precision Matthews. Base casting. So this is a big deal. Let me get a shot of this. Well, let's start. We always start with the Grizzly. Let's go with the Grizzly. So here's the base casting on the Grizzly. Now, my Grizzly has been converted to CNC, so you have to look past all that. But you get a shot. You see what it looks like, right? There it is. Let's run over to the Precision Matthews. Now look at that. I like the looks of the Precision Matthews casting more than the Grizzly. And I can tell you, just from line of sight here, the casting here on the Precision Matthews looks to be a little squarer, a little truer. I know on my Grizzly, I had to mount this bracket here that I put on it to hold the limit switches for the Y-axis. That casting had a pretty healthy bow. You can almost see it in this video. So I'm going to say that the base casting on the Precision Matthews is nicer than the Grizzly. Since we're talking castings, here's another really important thing to point out. The column mounting. And I'm going to try to give you a shot of this. So here's the Grizzly. You can see how the column mounts to the base casting. And I don't know. Well, you can judge for yourself what you think about that. Let's go look at the Precision Matthews. Precision Matthews bolts down from the top, and it has a really nice spread to it. Nice wide base, good distribution of forces there, right? I like it. I would say, and I think most people would agree, the way the column mounts to the base casting on the Precision Matthews is nicer. So I'm going to give that point to Precision Matthews. Now let's talk table castings. So here's the Grizzly. And once again, you have to look past all my CNC conversion stuff. You can see how it's put together, how it's made. The casting is kind of, it open ends, and then there's these, end caps that go on it, I guess you would say, right? So let's go look at the Precision Matthews casting. Here's the Precision Matthews. And what you notice is the whole thing is one piece of metal. Where in the Grizzly, this end cap is open and it just bolts on. Precision Matthews, that's all one piece of metal. So I think I like the casting on the table a little bit nicer than I do the Grizzly. So point for the table casting goes to Precision Matthews. Now let's talk about the saddle. Now this is a really big deal if you're ever planning on doing a CNC conversion. And where did I put my flashlight? I lost my flashlight. There it is. So let's take a look at this. See how consolidated everything is here on the saddle? The distance from here down to here. It's about 2 inches on the Grizzly. And you see how that ball screw just barely clears the saddle? I can tell you from personal experience that when you're doing a CNC conversion on one of these G0704s, the process of shoehorning the ball nut for the x-axis under the table is it's painful. And that is because there's not much clearance there between the bottom of the table and the saddle casting. So let's go over to the Precision Matthews and see how that's configured. So here we go. Oh, look at this. There is a lot more room down here. In fact, if my measurements are right, you have about an extra ½ inch of clearance between that and the bottom of the table. It's about 2½ inches. But you can see there's a lot more room here to fit your ball nut and your ball screw. So I really like this. If you're going to do a CNC conversion, this is a big deal. And I know I can't really get a good shot of it on the Grizzly, but the underside of the casting here on the table is really clean on the Precision Matthews. I recall when I was working on the Grizzly, it did not look quite as good as this. So I really like this. Saddle casting, I'm giving that point to the Precision Matthews. Head bolts. So let's go look at the Grizzly once again. The Grizzly has a 4-bolt system. There's 4 bolts up there. 1 big one in the middle, 3 on the sides or in the periphery. Let's go look at the Precision Matthews. Precision Matthews has a 3-bolt system. I assume there's some kind of little peg down in the middle there. But 3-bolt system on the Precision Matthews. So which one's better? I think I would say the 4-bolt system on the Grizzly. But the Precision Matthews website, they kind of brag about their 3-bolt mounting pattern on theirs as in a way as if it's better. So I don't know. I'm going to call that. I'm just going to call that a draw. I'm not really sure if one's better than the other, but they are different. Both machines have tapered gibs, and they look to be about the exact same configuration. So I'm going to say that that's a draw. That's equal. Ball oilers. Now this is a really interesting thing that I wasn't counting on this, but after I got the Precision Matthews, it's a really nice feature. The Grizzly really doesn't come with any ball oilers for any of the slideways or any of the bearings or anything like that. There's no ball oilers on it, which is unusual because I've noticed the Grizzly stuff, they usually like to slap ball oilers in on their products. There are no ball oilers on the G0704. But if you come over here to the Precision Matthews, you'll see, well, look at that. There's a ball oiler right there, a ball oiler there. There's a ball oiler. I like that. Another ball oiler. Ball oiler. There's another one on this side. Son of a gun, there's a ball oiler down here. And I'll bet you there's one on the other side. There is. And I'll bet you, oh, look at that. There's a ball oiler right there. So the Precision Matthews has ball oilers in it. Pretty much it looks like there's a way to lubricate everything here that moves. Now, the fact that they are there is a really big deal, in my opinion. I'm definitely going to score that point towards the Precision Matthews. And once again, for all you guys that want to do CNC conversions, if you want to put a one-shot oiler system on this machine, I'm guessing that the presence of those ball oilers is going to make it a lot easier to install that one-shot lube system. So the point definitely goes towards the Precision Matthews. All right, now here's something that's unexpected. The stand. These machines both come with a stand. The stand on the Grizzly is actually a little bit wider than the stand on the Precision Matthews. Now I don't know how big of a deal that really is for anybody, but just in case you're wondering. So the stand on the Grizzly, let's say it's like 15 3/4 wide. Stand on the Precision Matthews is about 13 1/4. So your Grizzly stand is a little bit wider. Now here's something cool though. The stand on the Precision Matthews has a removable door. So there's these little hinges, spring-loaded hinges on the Precision Matthews. You can take the door off. You cannot do that on the Grizzly. So who would you score better? Well, I'm going to give the point to Grizzly because I think wider is better. It's more stable. All right, moving on. Spindle Speed. Both of these machines have a spindle range of 50 to 2,250. So as far as RPMs, I'm going to say that they're equal. The Grizzly has a 1 horsepower motor with brushes. The Precision Matthews has a 1 horsepower motor, but it's a brushless motor, and I'll show that to you here soon. I think the point goes towards the Precision Matthews for having a brushless motor. The spindle taper in both of these machines is R8. They both have R8 spindles, so that's a draw. The full load current. So the Grizzly, according to its documentation, the full load current on the Grizzly is 12 amps. The Precision Matthews, its full load current is 14 amps. So it's drawing a little bit more power. I am going to score that as a positive thing. That's telling me that it's a little bit more powerful machine. So I'm going to give that point to Precision Matthews. Spindle wrench. So here's another thing that I didn't really think about, but slight difference. So let's look at the Grizzly. The Grizzly, when you're changing tools on the Grizzly, you have to jam. It comes from the factory with a Tommy bar that goes in this little hole. And what happens is as you change tools, you start to elongate that hole. So one of the first projects that people always do for their Grizzly is they build themselves a little spanner wrench, which I made one, and I really like it. That's how Grizzly locks out their spindle. Let's go look at the Precision Matthews and see how they do it. Precision Matthews, what they do is they mill 2 flats on their spindle, and you can see it on each side, and they give you this wrench, comes with it. So you don't have to make yourself a tool with the Precision Matthews, it comes with one. So which one do you like better? I don't know. Most people would probably say they like the Precision Matthews setup better, but I am actually going to give the point to the Grizzly because once you make your own spanner wrench, I think I like this setup better. And I'll tell you why. It leaves more metal in place, where the Precision Matthews, when they cut those 2 flats away, you're taking some metal away. So theoretically, it's probably not quite as strong as the Grizzly, but it probably will never make a difference, but I like the arrangement on the Grizzly better, so I'm going to give that point to the G0704. Spindle Drive. The Grizzly has, it's a gear drive configuration. Now mine has been modified. I've kind of done a partial belt drive conversion on my machine, but the Grizzly normally has a gear on the motor that turns a gear right here, and that turns some gears down in the casting here. Then you have a high range, low range that you flip on the side of the machine. The Precision Matthews, you can see there's no high-low selector. And let's just pop this little cover off. And here is the arrangement on the Precision Matthews. So it's a direct belt drive. There's the motor. You can see the motor. I told you the motor looks a little slicker. It's a cleaner looking motor. It's brushless. I like this. But belt drive, pulley arrangement, and it's quiet. So this machine has not been broken in yet, but I'm going to just turn it on so you get an idea. I'm not sure how well you can hear that, but it's quiet. It doesn't make much noise. I like it. Now, for you guys that want to do CNC conversions, I believe this arrangement is also easier to mod. So I have already ordered a 2 horsepower 3-phase motor and a variable frequency drive. That's what's going to wind up on this thing eventually. And the belt drive configuration, I believe, is going to be easier to integrate all that. So let's go look at the Grizzly again. Now, my Grizzly is not a factory Grizzly anymore. I've changed it up. I don't know how well you can hear that, but the Grizzly is much louder. There's a lot more noise with the gear arrangement. Which one actually works better? I don't know. I haven't used the Precision Matthews yet. I can tell you this with the Grizzly, if you're doing a lot of drilling, I like to be able to flip it down into low range and do the drilling. That's worked really well for me, but if you get online, you'll see that one of the things that people complain about all the time on these G0704s are the plastic gears. People break the plastic gears. I've never broken them, but it seems to be a common problem, and I'm guessing it's because people are using the machine to do a lot of drilling. Maybe they have really big drills in the machine. Drilling, if you have a large diameter drill, can make requires a lot of torque. There's a lot of forces there. I don't know. The Precision Matthews, obviously, there are no plastic gears. It's belt drive. It's quieter. So I'm going to give that point to the Precision Matthews. Another little, kind of a tiny thing, spindle index sensor. And I will try to point this out. The factory spindle index sensor on the Grizzly, it uses this disc with these holes. There's a little sensor back here. This is exposed, gets oil and grease and junk on it. That's what that looks like. And the Precision Matthews, I don't know where the spindle index sensor is. I'm not sure where it's at. It's hidden. The wiring diagram shows one. It says sensor. I don't know where it is. So I'm assuming that that's probably good because it's protected and it's not exposed and dirt and debris cannot get on it. I'll find out more when I get into the CNC conversion. But on that account, I'm going to call that a pro for the Precision Matthews. So the point for Precision Matthews. Table size. The table size on the Grizzly, according to their documentation, the Grizzly table size is 26 5/8 by 7 1/16. The table size on the Precision Matthews is 27.5 by 7 1/8. So I'm going to point to the Precision Matthews. Let's talk travels. The travel, X travel, Y travel, Z travel on the Grizzly X is 18 and 7/8, Y is 6 and 7/8, and Z is 11. The Precision Matthews, your X travel is 19, your Y is 7, and your Z is 13. So the Precision Matthews has more travel, so all those points go to the Precision Matthews. T-slots, your table T-slots. The Grizzly has 7/16 T-slots. The Precision Matthews has 12mm T-slots. I don't know that one's really better than the other, so I'm going to call that equal. Now here's one that I think will be important to a lot of people. The hand wheels. So I have the hand wheels removed from my Grizzly because I did a CNC conversion, but this is what they look like. They're not real big, and they don't actually, so you go from 0, say 20, 30, 40, 90, or 80 up to 90. So each revolution is not 0.1. Each revolution is 0.9 on the Grizzly hand wheels, which is weird. Well, actually, no, I'm lying to you. It is 0.1. Each revolution is 0.1. But you can see what the graduations look like. Let me try to do this a little better. 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. So it's every 20. So each line is 2 thou. Let's go look at the Precision Matthews. Hand wheels on the Precision Matthews are a little nicer. So you go, each line is 1 thou. Each graduation is 1 thou, and you have like 10 thou, I don't know what you want to call this, divisions or whatever. So in my opinion, this is much nicer. So I give this point to Precision Matthews. They have what I believe to be much nicer graduated collars on their machine. All right, getting to the end of the list. Let's talk about just some subtle things. The manual, the documentation. Grizzly is a big company, a big importer. Their manuals are really well written and clean, really nice. I'm going to give that point to the Grizzly. I think the Grizzly has a nicer manual. The manual for the Precision Matthews is not bad, but there's little things that are weird, like the parts diagram. I can tell the parts diagram doesn't 100% match the machine. Like, for instance, if you compare the table and this casting here to what's shown in the parts diagram, it's not exactly the same. It's not really a big deal. It's not like the manual is terrible with the Precision Matthews. The manual is pretty good, but I think the documentation from Grizzly is a little bit better. Drill chuck. The Grizzly comes with a drill chuck. If you buy the Grizzly, you get a drill chuck in the toolbox. Precision Matthews, you do not get a drill chuck. Not a big deal, but just something worth pointing out. Last but not least, the paint job. The paint job on the Grizzly, I believe, is a little bit better. And the paint job on the Precision Matthews is not bad, but it's just not quite as nice as what Grizzly puts on their machine. So it's a small point, maybe not a really big deal, but worth pointing out. So there you go. So when I totaled it all up, I have 22 points for the Precision Matthews, 22 points for the Precision Matthews, and only 12 points for the Grizzly. So that's what you get for your extra $289. I would say, all things considered, and I have a visitor, Winston, Winston wants to come check things out, check out my new toy. Which one do you like better, Winston? You like the Precision Matthews, don't you? I think so. The Precision Matthews, I believe, is a much nicer machine. I think it's well worth the extra $289. Grizzly is a great company. They're a big importer. They have really good customer service. They have a great parts department. My interactions with people at Precision Matthews have also been very good. They're a much smaller company, but there's always somebody there that answers the phone when I call. And unlike Grizzly, the owner of the company, I believe he's the owner of the company, is still answering the emails. So if you email Precision Matthews, you're going to talk to the guy that owns the company. If you email Grizzly, I can pretty much 100% guarantee you will never, ever, 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 ever be speaking with the guy that owns the company. So, that is what it is. I kind of like the way the guys at Precision Matthews are doing what they do. They're out of Pittsburgh, and they seem like really, really cool people. So, all right, I hope you found this video helpful, and be safe. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.